On the line for the start of race 1 for the Opens. Are we going to see some skyborne stuff from these guys? Justin Morris in total concentration. Well, with Paul Cooper 4th in the championship, we went down to the line and grabbed a quick word with him before the start.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good. I mean, I'm still in a strong position in the championship. After the first 2 rounds, we had a few problems, so I think things can only get better, and we can keep improving and hopefully get into the top slot again.
Well, Cooper, as we say, 4th after 2 rounds in the championship. This is the track that he should go well on. The spectators, well, point a camera at some people, and they always act the goat, don't they? Start gate, ready to drop. And Mervyn Anstey on that Bike Sport Honda. As always, whole shots the race. Merv the swerve, but Justin Morris in 2nd place. The number 7, Fowler's Honda, screaming up in 2nd spot. And everybody looks to have got safely through, and it's Morris that's gone into the lead. Anstey 2nd. Well, we really are being treated to some fine racing here. Eastwood just going through. And there's Robbie Herring. Well, he's had a terrible start to this race. But not for this young man. Justin Morris leads. Then Anstey. Then number 15, that's David Campbell. Behind Campbell, we're looking for some of our front runners. Where was Cooper? There is Eastwood. And he's got Hewitson behind him. Big airtime from Robbie Herring, having to work very hard to make up the positions. Off at the start. Not a good race for him at the moment. A big thundering 4-stroke, I think that was, of Lee King behind him. Could well have been Stacey Harmon on the Husqvarna, but down the hill they come. There's Ed Bradley, and there is Cooper. Not a good start for Cooper either. Well, these two, with the absence of Stefan Everts, hoping to make up major points here today in the championship, and it's all going sadly wrong for, once again, Steve McMillan. And I knew I'd come in hand for something. Pulling rope out of the back of Steve McMillan's wheel. Well, it was going to happen. We could see that rope dangling on the track. It didn't take long for somebody to collect it, and it had to be Mac. Justin Morris goes airborne. Anstey's still there behind him. The Gavin Linscott Bike Sport Honda, and there is Cooper. Oh, he's having to work hard. Ed Bradley behind him. Very hard, Cooper. Well, with the absence of the world champion, these two guys, Herring in particular, hoping to pick up some major points, but not a good start to the day for them. Here comes Anstey. Campbell behind him on the number 15 bike, and that's Jason Higgs, number 19. Young Higgsy. Here comes Brian Steele, number 45. He's got Cooper there right behind him. There is Campbell again, number 15, the Scot. Getting to grips with the big jumps here. Eastwood going through again. Not a good start for Eastwood. Justin Morris it is then that leads. We're looking back behind him. There's Campbell. There is Anstey. And there is Warren Edwards, number 43. He's got Jason Higgs behind him and Dennis Hewitson behind Jason Higgs. So we've got a bit of a battle here. Cooper very much out on his own at the moment. He's going to have to work hard for this one. Robbie Herring goes through past number 73. That's Darren Brookin. No relation, I understand, to the ex-time famous footballer. Well, Steve McMillan finally got himself untangled and got away again, but a lap down. There is Warren Edwards once again, right behind Campbell. Then Hewitson. Edwards, Britain's really only true Supercross rider. Does extremely well in the off-season over in the German Supercross Championships, but there is Edwards, and Hewitson is closing on him. Campbell has dropped back, so Edwards has gone up a position, so has Hewitson. Campbell down 2. Here comes Justin Morris. He has led literally from the drop of the flag. Can he lead to the checkered? There is Warren Edwards. He's up to 2nd. So a great ride for Rabbits. He's got Hewitson 25 behind him in 3rd, trailing that roll-off goggle film. I hope that doesn't get tangled anywhere, but there is Robbie Herring. He has got a problem of some kind. He's broken something on that bike. Maybe we'll get a chance to find out what it is after the race. But Herring very detuned in this one. We expected him to go extremely well here, but it's not going that well for him. Picking his way slowly through the field, trying to salvage some points. Now there's a face I know from round one. I just go to show that people travel from one round to another. Morris it is that goes through. Edwards in second place on the 43 Wiseco Piston Honda. David Campbell going through. He's about fifth at the moment, but here is Justin Boris Morris taking the checkered flag for race one win and 30 points. Right behind him second, 43 Warren Edwards, 27 points. Then it was Dennis Hewitson, and Paul Cooper eventually got up to fourth place. What a terrific ride. Then it was David Campbell coming through, and then number 3 was Mark Eastwood, and behind Mark Eastwood number 19 Jason Higgs.
The stop, it didn't come off, and then the first lap, because I couldn't stop in the corner, somebody came across me, I couldn't stop and I hit him. Went into the post and it broke off, and that was it. Not a joke.
You were going the same speed at the rest.
Pushed me straight into the cars on the outside.
Well, that was your answer. Clutch lever broken off for Robbie Herring. Very upset about the result from race one, but you just got to put it behind you and get ready for race two. The 125 boys back on the line. Paul Malin preparing to go down onto the start then for the second race of the day. Can he repeat the result he got in race one, which was of course a win? Here they go. 28 there, that's Neil Carnell on the inside. 58 Teasdale beside him. The gate drops, up they go into that left-hand corner. And someone's gone wayward. Very wayward. I think that was Neil Carnell in actual fact. No, it's number 96. Chris Kirk that crashed. Carnell was amongst that group, but it is Carlson then that leads. Carlson leads, Nunny second, then it's Malin, Ryan Vose. Well, here they come. Craig Bradley going through, Tony Marshall, Lee Williams on the 38 bike. Oh, the pace here. There's Stephen Sword, 46. The 96 bike of Chris Kirk back up with the tail enders, but he's going well over the big jump. Absolutely skyborne. There is Malin, who's not leading this one. He's going to have to work hard for it. It is Carlson that has the lead at the moment. Joachim Carlson beginning to put the thing together for this championship. The defending British 125 Championship. Nunny is second on that Cat Finning Honda. Down the hill for the Swede. Behind him, it's the young lad, Carl Nunn. Then it is the veteran, as speaking as far as this championship is concerned, Paul Malin. I think that was Jonathan Pettit, number 18, right behind him. There's Neil Prince chasing Ricky Priest. It really is beginning to open up. 48, A.D. Smith going through. There is 76. That's Jonathan White. And he had Stephen Sword behind him, and there is Stephen Sword. Another one of the real young riders in this championship, coming straight from the schoolboy ranks of last year. But this man, he's got the experience. Racing 250 World Championship, got British 125 Championship. Yogi Carlson, the battle is on behind him. Carl Nunn under pressure from Paul Malin. Then it's Brian Jorgensen on the 42 bike, his teammate Craig Patley on the number 12 G-Shock Casio Suzuki. And Malin has found a way past Nunny. He's up into second. And it was Jonathan Pettit, number 18. Well, Pettit having an inspired ride. There's Neil Prince. Craig Patley from Finstock in Oxfordshire. Wants very much to win this championship this year for his sponsors, G-Shock Casio. But it is the number 2 RWJ Honda. He takes the checkered flag, Carlson. Malin come home in second. Number 10 it was for third, Carl Nunn, 42. Jorgensen finished fourth, and Neil Prince, number 6, came in behind him.
Number 6.
And Jonathan Pettit finally finished 16th. What a ride from the youngster as the Opens came back onto the start gate for their second race of the day. Eastwood behind Morris. Wheeler sandwiched between Morris and Cooper. Jeff Perrott, number 33, as the board went up. 15 seconds, 5 seconds. The gate was about to drop. And up the inside, once again, it was Merv the Swerve. Mervyn Anstey. But Morris has got another blister in style. Justin Morris must be on an elastic band off that gate. Morris, this time it's Herring. Then Ed Bradley. Then Cooper. And I think that could well be Stacey Harmon there on the 79 Husqvarna. There aren't too many four-strokes in this championship, but they're going quite well. It's Herring. Herring has got the lead. Where is Morris? Well, Robbie Herring, obviously very annoyed about the result in race 1, has decided to make amends in race 2. And is he doing it in style or what? Just look at that. Airborne for the RWJ Honda. Morris is second. And Cooper is behind him in third. That was Ed Bradley in fourth. That's a great ride from Bradley at the moment. There is Eastwood. He's got a lot of work to do. 43, Warren Edwards, second in race 1. Having to work hard at the moment to get a good result in race 2. But look at this. We've got a battle between Justin Morris and Paul Cooper. Fowler's Honda versus SoCal Kawasaki. And can Cooper get through? There is Herring. Well, in style, the fish. And Cooper has got through. Up to second. 27 points if he stays where he is. 30 if he can catch Herring. There is Morris back in third. 25 points. This young man who was under Dave Thorpe's wing last year is going very, very well. 43 Edwards now up with Bradley. And Edwards looking to elevate himself a position here. Can Bradley hold off the Supercross rider? This track absolutely littered with jumps from one side to the other. Well, the kids are having fun. Time for a break for Mum. Give them a chance to have a break from the racing. But somebody has gone down here, and very heavily it is as well. He looks to have concussed himself. He's not in what one describes the best of fitness at the moment as Herring comes around to win race 2. Paul Cooper came home to finish second. Justin Morris was to finish third. And in fourth, it was Warren Edwards, number 43. Behind him, number 3, Mark Eastwood. And then it was Davey Campbell. But it's Adam Lyons, the rider who's crashed, number 93. He's up on his feet and glad to report that he was only shaken and bruised. Here we go then. 1, 2, 5s. And the open class boys all mixed up together. And we've got problems on the first corner. And Paul Cooper amongst those problems, and so is Dennis Hewitson. Craig Bradley also caught up in that. So was Carl Nunn. There's Paul Malin as well, he's caught up in that. And that is Mark Eastwood. Well, he says, I'm all right, let me get back on the bike. I need to catch them up. Well, he's hurt his right hand, but it would seem. And somebody else has gone down, that's Anstey. And he's collected, I think it's Jason Higgs, yes it is. Number 19, well, will you move your bike? I've got a race to race in. Higgsy goes down with Anstey. And Carlson also caught up in that first corner crash. But Justin Morris deciding, well, I might as well make good of this. And he's off in the lead. Edwards behind him. 45, that's Steele. And look at this. That was Wheeler on the KTM. And Malin going absolutely banzai, trying to catch up the riders in front. And Robbie Herring, well, all those possible points that he could have scored have just gone completely out the window. Bradley going through. Matthew Nelms. Jamie Britton amongst that group going through, but there is Cooper, and Paul Cooper has lit the afterburner on that so-called Kawasaki. Right at the back, after crashing on that first corner, he has gone ballistic. He is the fastest man around his circuit at the moment, but Justin Morris, totally unaware of what's going on behind him, leads comfortably. Can he hang on to the checkered flag? Looking back for second, and it's Wheeler! With Michael Bergman there, that's Brian Wheeler on the KTM. There's Warren Edwards back behind those two. Craig Bradley, G-Shock Casio Suzuki, trying to pick up from that first corner crash. Well, all our top riders, literally all our top riders went down in that first corner, including this one, Cooper. But Cooper has turned up the afterburner. He is, without a doubt, the quickest man at the moment. Bradley, Prince behind him. The battle is on for the 125, but there is Cooper, scything his way through the pack at unbelievable rate. There is Wheeler, second for him, behind Justin Morris. 49, Brian Steele. The young, softly spoken Irishman having a great race. Here comes Malin. Had to pick himself up from that first corner crash. Has had to wind the Cadbury's Boost Yamaha up to its full potential. Hewitson. And Hewitson tucked right up behind, I think that was Tony Marshall. Indeed he was, number 16. Here comes the flying Cooper man. And flying is probably the best description for him today in this last race. Neil Prince, number 6. Top 125 rider at the moment in this race. And there's a celebrity, that's John Marshall, Tony Marshall's dad, watching the progress of his son. But here's one man to keep your eye on as far as progress is concerned, because Cooper has just gone crazy. He is out jumping everybody around the circuit, and he's after Justin Morris. Cooper's gone to second. Here comes David Campbell, and there is Tony Marshall with, I think that was the number 18 bike of Jonathan Pettit in front of him. So young Tony Marshall riding for Tim Britton cars for this year, as he did last year. But look at this, you cannot believe. Cooper has come right from the back, has come right through the pack, and is now leading. Well, if Paul Cooper could do this at every round, there'd be no doubt as to who would keep that number 1 plate for next year. Justin Morris must be wondering, well, where did he come from? And Brian Wheeler, well, that's where Brian Wheeler went. Out of the race with a broken rear sprocket. Ryan Vose, 32. Here comes Cooper, and he takes the checkered flag. What a race for Cooper. Justin Morris comes home second. Neil Prince comes home third. Top 125. His teammate Carl Nunn followed him home for fourth. Then it was Brian Steele and Craig Prattley. There's Tim Britton from Tim Britton Cars. After the race, we grabbed a quick word with Justin Morris.
Justin, absolute blinding day. Finished overall winner. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, it's my very first overall win in the Open Championship. I was very lucky with all the other guys having misfortunes in the start and everything, but got 3 blinding starts and just stuck with it and ended up overall winner.
Well, adding up the results, well, let's dive across the paddock and talk to some of the Cat Finning squad.
David, 2 of your top boys here today, Neil Prince, Carl Nunn. You must be pleased as a team manager.
Yeah, they did really well today. It was a good race for them. I was very pleased with the last race. It was nice to see them up there against the 250s.
Well, these 2 boys were battling each other in the last race. I was beginning to wonder which one of them was going to come out on top.
Yeah, I didn't mind which one come out on top as long as they both didn't end up on the floor. That was my only concern at one stage.
Neil Prince, 3rd overall today, behind your teammate Carl Nunn. You must be happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm very happy. The first 2 races, like the first 15 minutes into the races, took me quite a bit of time to get going. I got going, and in the last race I was already going. So just all come together.
Carl, you're 2nd overall, and that's the result you can't be too unhappy with.
No, I had a good race day today. Good 3 consistent races. Got good starts in the first 2. I went down on the first turn in the last race and done all the work early on. So had a very good day. I'm very pleased.
One man that's had his ups and downs today, that's Paul Cooper.
Yeah, it was a very different day. I went down the first corner like in 2 races, which I didn't really want to be doing, and I gave myself a lot of work to do. But everything worked out really well, and I ended up getting 2nd overall. I would like to have won, but it worked out pretty well anyway.
Well, that last race, I think you went ballistic because you were going faster than anybody else on the circuit.
Yeah, well, I had to, didn't I? I mean, I was so far behind Justin that I really had to do everything I could, and I just hit every jump as fast as I could, and just really let it all hang out.
And the young man that we don't often get to speak to up on the rostrum, but it's great for him today, finishing third, Warren Edwards. You've got to be pleased with that result.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. Like you say, it's been a long time since I've been on the podium. It surprised me more than anyone, especially around this track. It's not particularly one of my favourite ones. But the day's gone good. The first 2 races were superb. The last race I was exhausted, but managed just to do enough to get third overall. Well pleased.
Round 4 of the Morris Lubricants Championship came to the famous Shropshire Circuit and the home of Morris Lubricants here at Hawkstone Park. The 125s got off the line and they were led away by the Cadbury's Boost man, number 40, Paul Malin. In hot pursuit, the Dane, Brian Jorgensen, and Carl Nunn there in third. Craig Pratley was back around fourth. Then it was Carlson and Neil Prince on the number 6 Cat Finnin Honda. This is the track where Princey won that 94 British Crown. But it was Malin that went through to take the win. Jorgensen came home second, then it was Nunny, then Craig Pratley and the number 2 bike of Joachim Carlson. He finished 5th and he was followed home by Neil Prince. Well, the open class boys came onto the line and racing on a sandy circuit, once again the world champion Stefan Everts. What can Everts do here? Well, up that start straight once again went Mervyn Anstey on the number 9 Bike Sport Honda. But it was Everts that led them through. Eastwood was around there as well. But Everts certainly on a circuit that would suit his riding style and his ability thoroughly down to the ground. Justin Morris having a great ride. There is Mervyn Anstey. And Brian Wheeler with a new sprocket fitted to the back of the KTM. Dennis Hewitson finding the sand just a little slippery. With no doubt about who was at the front, but it's second then for Justin Morris. He was having a tremendous ride, but there was a tremendous battle going on behind him. Cooper, Campbell, they were all in there. There's Morris, and there comes Cooper through the whoops, trying to pass Morris, and there's Eastwood. Those dreaded Hawkstone whoops can catch anyone out. Robbie Herring, not a good start to the day's racing. But Cooper having a tremendous ride. Now into second, Morris down to third. And Eastwood really going for it, picking up places lap after lap. But it was the world champion Everts that took the checkered flag in race 1. Number 9, that was Mervyn Anstey. He finished 16th. Then it was Cooper. Then it was Eastwood. Then Morris. And then Jason Higgs. And in 6th position came number 15, David Campbell. Well, the 125s came back out onto the line for their second race of the day. Led, of course, by the number 40 bike of Paul Malin. Neil Prince, with fond memories of that 94 championship when he became British 125 champion here at Hawkstone Park, probably still fresh in his mind. Well, at this point the weather changed, and as you can see, it wasn't for the better. Up went the brollies, the rain came down, and track conditions were obviously going to change quite dramatically. Gate dropped, and off that straight they went into the right-hander, into the woods. And number 72 here, this was Ben Taylor from Purley on a Wiseco Honda. But it was Jorgensen that led them away. Malin was going to have to work hard in this race if he wanted to get back at the front, but it was all to go wrong for Paul Malin. An electrical fault putting out the Cadbury's Booth rider in the first couple of laps. But the battles were certainly on. Carlson chasing there, Craig Pratley, then Neil Prince coming through on the Cat Finnin Honda. He had one of the Sky Marsh boys right behind him, and there's Tony Marshall, number 16, on the Tim Britton Yamaha. Jorgensen, number 42, on the Casio G-Shock Suzuki, chasing the Tim Britton bike. But we were certainly going to be on for a fly here. Number 30 there, that was Jamie Brearden with Lee Williams on the Sanderson Honda. And out of the race went this young man, number 74. That was Stuart Haywood. Well, Carl Nunn going through with his teammate Neil Prince behind him. Then Jorgensen. The sand here was to take its prisoners as Lee Williams comes through with Craig Pratley and Carlson battling for first and second. Then it was Jorgensen back in third. Then Carl Nunn back in fourth. Behind Carl Nunn, teammate Neil Prince on his local circuit. But look at this. Is Carlson going to beat him? He is. Carlson takes the win, and Craig Pratley obviously very bitterly disappointed about that result. Well, Brian Still led the open class down onto the line for their second race, and as you can see, the weather hadn't improved. Not that I was really worrying, because I was in the commentary tower, keeping lovely and dry. The gate dropped. Up that famous start straight they went yet again. And just look at the rain. Someone's gone down, and guess what? It's Steve McMillan, number 35. Well, Steve seems to have a reputation for throwing the bike away.
Well, Campbell's
David Campbell it is that leads. He's got the world champion Stefan Everts right behind him, and I think that's not going to be for long. And on cue, Everts powers the HRC Honda up the hill. One would only expect this Belgian rider to excel here in the sand of Hawkstone Park. But Davy Campbell gave him a run for his money for the first couple of laps. And behind Campbell came Herring, trying to make up from his disappointments in race one. And there was Cooper right behind Herring. And Cooper also having to make up from not the best of results from race one. Well, he finished second. He wanted a win. The SoCal Raider going through the sand. He's past Robbie Herring. Into the deep sand hole they come. Justin Morris not having the best of the second races. Number 3, Mark Eastwood, having to contend with the deep sand. Cooper going through. Herring still there behind him. And that was 31. That's Andy Gilbert. Up the hill they go, the mechanics urging them on. Herring chasing Cooper. Well, at the checkered flag, it was to be the world champion Stefan Everts. Herring came home third behind Cooper. Then it was Mark Eastwood, followed by Justin Morris, number 7. And behind Morris, it was the number 25 bike of Dennis Hewitson, the South African. Well, the weather actually improved. The sun came out again as the riders prepared to come down to the line for the last race of the day, led by the world champion Everts.
19.
Best of the 250-500 riders, best of the 125 riders. This was the superclass race. The gate dropped, and up that start straight they roared. Into the right hand, into the woods where they go out of view, and that's usually where all the problems happen. But it was Everts with absolutely no problems whatsoever. He led them away. The battles were on behind once again between Herring and Justin Morris this time. Cooper at the moment nowhere to be seen. Up the famous Hawkstone Hill. 18-14, that was Nathan Shelton. And there's Carlson, number 2. Carlson having to charge here. Hewitson behind him. They attack that Hawkstone Hill. And that looks very much like James Payton, the 26 Kawasaki, behind that group. Over the Yamaha leap came the world champion. Stefan Everts made his return to British Championship racing here at Hawkstone Park after missing the last round, and certainly has done it in fine style. But look at Justin Morris. There is Cooper behind him. And behind that group and charging for points, number 40. That was, of course, Paul Malin, a DNF in race 2. Was his luck going to change in this last race of the day? He leads the championship. Craig Pratley going past Justin Morris. Well, Craig Pratley on another inspired ride, but it wasn't again for Paul Malin. The hand went up. A second electrical problem put Malin out of the reckoning. Well, what can he do? Cooper going through. Well, Malin walks away with his brother pushing the bike. Well, that's 2 DNFs, a possible 60 points down the drain. Well, Paul Malin still leads the championship, but that lead has now been reduced. It was then the world champion Everts that won the race. Brian Jorgensen finishing 4th behind Robbie Herring and Paul Cooper. And there is Jorgensen, the overall winner of the 125 class. And the Dane obviously likes the sand here at Hawkstone. Top three then in the open class then. Stefan Everts, Robbie Herring, well, Paul Cooper, then Robbie Herring in third. Round 5 at Ellsworth, and we spoke to Paul Malin about his disappointment from Hawkstone.
Paul, leading the 125 Championship at the moment, and your world-class results, second overall, Hungary last week. Got to be pleased with that.
Yeah. Everyone was saying to me after Hawkstone at the last round, you know, a couple of bike problems, how are you going to sort of, you know, get your head around it and get your arse back into gear kind of thing, but the problem at Hawkstone wasn't me, it was like a bike problem. It wasn't nothing to do with the mechanicking of the bike, it was just like an electrical fault, and it couldn't be avoided. But you know, I knew in my own mind that I was riding okay anyway, and that I could carry that over to the Grand Prix. And for the last 3 Grand Prix I've been very consistent. I've had a third in Spain, third overall in Holland, second overall last week in Hungary, so yeah, third in the championship, 10 points off second. It's looking good right now.
Well, things looking very good for Malin in the world class as well as the British Home Championship. 42, Brian Jorgensen there wanting to depose Malin from that top spot here in the British Championships. Well, there's another young man that would like to score a few points, the defending champion, number 2, Joachim Carlson, right behind the championship leader, Paul Malin. Number 10, Carl Nunn, hoping for better things before the end of the year. The gate dropped then on race 1. These were the 125s. Into that first right-hand corner. Oh dear, Tim Heisman, number 78 there, and I'm not sure that's Carlson. Carlson caught up with Heisman, and it's Craig Pratley that leads them through the whoopie-doos. Pratley. There's Jorgensen. That was Nathan Shelton. I'm not sure whether that was Tony Marshall that was second. If it was, that's a brilliant ride. Danny Tollett just gone through. Looking back for our main challengers. There is Craig Pratley. G-Shock Casio Suzuki. And that looks like Jonathan Pettit, number 18, that's second, not Tony Marshall. There is Malin. That's Teasdale right beside Carlson. Remember, Carlson fell on the opening in that corner. But it is the youngster Craig Pratley from Finstock in Oxfordshire. Malin now up into second. Then it's Neil Prince in third. Then Carl Nunn going through in fourth. One of the Sky Mask boys behind him in 5th place. The crowd look on as Jorgensen. He's way down the field. He's obviously had an off somewhere. There's his teammate. Well, he's not down the field because he's at the head. He leads. Craig Pratley goes for air over the Ellsworth jumps. This circuit could be described as probably Britain's now premier supercross track. There are more jumps in this track than there are at the Olympic Games. There's Neil Prince. Where is Malin? And the answer is there, right tucked up behind the race leader. And going for the lead. Malin only knows one place, and that's at first, at the front. Stephen Sword, number 46, Sky Mask, Suzuki. 28 and number 2 going through Neil Carnell, and of course, Yoki Carlson. Malin's got the lead. He's found a way past the Suzuki of Pratley. Pratley now down to second. Looking back for third. Well, there's Steve Dixon. Fingers crossed that the bike will not expire again. Very embarrassing moments for a mechanic. Checkered flag then for Paul Malin. Craig Pratley came home second. Neil Prince on the number 6, Catfin in Honda, was to finish third. Jorgensen finished down in 23rd place. Number 10, Carl Nunn, he finished 4th. Then Carlson charged through to finish 5th. And what a respectable result that was when you consider where he was after the start gate. And 46, Stephen Sword, he finished 6th. Well, there is Barbara Laws from Dunlop. Sticking some Dunlop stickers onto Tim Wheeler's KTM, hoping that that will make it go a bit quicker. Paul Cooper preparing for the start of race 1. Here they come. Down into that treacherous right-hand corner. Mervyn Anstey does what Mervyn Anstey does best and gets the whole shot. Oh, we've got a tumble here. Well, they've managed to part themselves, but it's Wheeler. Well, just goes to show what Dunlop stickers and Dunlop tyres can do for a KTM. Wheeler leads them away. But not for long, because here comes Justin Morris. Mark Eastwood on the inside, then it's Everts, then it's Wheeler down to 4th. There is Cooper. Where is Herring? There's Jason Higgs with a change of machine, and there's Herring. He's got Hewitson behind him. Justin Morris leading then. It's the world champion Everts into 2nd. Then it is Eastwood, then Wheeler, and then Cooper 5th. Somebody's on the floor. It's Cat Finning Honda man. Daniel Smith. He's taken a tumble here at Ellsworth off one of the big jumps. There's his team manager David Thorpe picking up the bike and incidentally riding a 250 here instead of the 500. It's Morris still leading from Everts. Eastwood and Cooper takes the long way round on the SoCal Quacker. Morris still. Where is Everts? And the answer is Everts has been off the bike. Everts has gone through the whoopie-doos. There's Herring beginning to catch the riders in front, but we've lost the world champion. And there he is, bent handlebars. Has injured his shoulder a little bit, I think. Off through the whoopie-doos. Well, that's not like Stefan Everts. The battle then on at the front. It's Cooper now that leads from Eastwood. Herring up to 3rd. Where has the number 7 Fowler's Honda of Justin Morris gone? Somebody off the bike. We've got a rider down. This is going to slow things up a little bit. It's 95 Sean Cousins. As 89, that's Mike Berman gets the black flag. The steward obviously deciding that he's done something very wrong. In the lead then, it's Cooper on the SoCal Kawasaki. 2nd behind him, RWJ's Robbie Herring. Behind Herring at the moment, it should be Wisecoat Piston, and it is Mark Eastwood. Then Dennis Hewitson. He's having a great ride here. Should like the track. The battle certainly was on at the front. Herring climbing all over Cooper, but Cooper takes the result. Herring gets 2nd and the 27 points. Eastwood comes home 3rd for the 25 points. And then in 4th place, it was that man, Dennis Hewitson. Number 7, he finished 5th as Justin Morris. And behind Morris, number 19, a great ride for him, Jason Higgs. And you can see Morris had a puncher. Well, Brian Steele, number 45, he finished 7th. He got the dreaded noise test. Well, safely to say that he passed with flying colours as Paul Malin led them down onto the start for the 2nd of the 125 races. Brian Jorgensen, Neil Prince across the back of that group. Nathan Shelton, number 14, beside Malin, sandwiched between Malin and Carlson. Hoping to get a drag off the start. Well, at this point, the rain started to fall. Circuit conditions were to become very, very slippery, as they always do here at Ellsworth when it rains. Hard packed around the jumps, but Malin absolutely making no mistake this time. Carlson in 2nd place. Looking back behind Carlson, it was Prince, then Pratley, then Nunny was amongst that group. Through the whoopie-doos as the rain fell and the track got slipperier and slipperier as Jürgen Carlson had to contend with the conditions. The back of the bike sliding everywhere. Pratley 3rd, Carl Nunn 4th, 5th now for Neil Prince. 32 Ryan Vodes going through, and a battle on between Jorgensen and number 28. That's Neil Carnell again. Nathan Shelton on the number 14 bike, looking to be heading back for an early wash 56. Phil Neal, well, wasn't a good race for him either, but it was a good race for this man, number 40. Paul Malin gingerly picks his way through the jumps. Circuit conditions extremely treacherous as Carl Nunn makes a bid for second and takes Carlson. Oh, the Swede obviously a little pensive around the slippery tracks. There is Craig Prattley. He's down in fourth. Behind him is now Carlson. So Prattley moves up a place. There's Jorgensen going through 42. And a battle on here between Jonathan White and Tim Heisman on the Vortex Suzuki. Jonathan White, former AMCA starlet. And the battle on here because Carlson is now catching Princey. There is Malin. He's going to take the checkered flag for sure. Craig Prattley's going to come home in third place. Second, it was Carl Nunn. Fourth, then for Neil Prince, number 6. Jorgensen was to come home and finish 5th. And behind him, young Tony Marshall. Well, he actually finished 7th behind 32, Ryan Vose. Paul Malin relaxes before the next of the open class races. Signs a few autographs for his fans. Always very obliging is Paul Malin. Here we go, open class race number 2. It looks like Robbie Herring that's got the whole shot. 71 goes down in that first corner. That's Trevor Cubitt with 27, Ed Bradley, but it is Herring that's led them away through the whoopie-doos. Looking back behind Herring, it should be Everts, and it's Cooper. Where is Everts? Still going through. There's Everts back in 5th. He's right with Morris and just about to pass him. Herring it is. He looks over his shoulder to see where the opposition are currently lying at the moment. And there is Cooper behind him. Everts now up to 3rd. Because Steele has gone down to 4th. Ryan Steele, the Irishman, having a tremendous ride. Eastwood with Hewitson. Cooper. Everts behind Cooper. We've got a battle on here for second place. Can the world champion redeem himself from that crash in race 1? Justin Morris with the goggles over the handlebars. A tussle on here. Brian Steele and Mark Eastwood, number 3. And young Steele has got Hewitson there behind him. Well, Ed Bradley looks to be retiring, the number 27 bike. Crashing off the start. Here comes Herring. He still leads. And Everts now up into 2nd. Cooper down to 3rd. Eastwood up to 4th. Well, the positions changing as they normally do here at Ellsworth. It's a very tight, jumped, strewn track. The mechanics looking on. Herring it is. Goes through the jumps in beautiful style. He comes around, pops a wheelie. Herring then wins race 2. Everts was 2nd, Cooper was 3rd, Eastwood was 4th, and Steele, he finished 5th in front of Dennis Hewitson. Well, the power washers are on. Get the mud off the bike. This is Brian Steele's bike, the Irishman. That's the machine of number 26, young Payton. James Payton from Abingdon, Oxford. Well, the crowd look on as the riders, fully washed, cleaned up and prepared, come down to the line for the last race of the day. Mark Hucklebridge, number 22 there. Top 20 from the open class, top 20 from the 125 go head to head. Who is it going to be? Into that right hand corner. Well, that looks like Craig Prattley that's up alongside Stephen Sword and Ryan Vose, and Ryan Vose gets away right at the back. Well, any chances of scoring points for him have gone down the drain. It's Cooper then that leads. Everts is 2nd. The race is most certainly on. Morris going through. And Steve. And there's Malin. There's Eastwood. And Jason Higgs having a tremendous battle with Eastwood. And a problem for Justin Morris. It looks like the clutch lever's gone. It has. Dropped the bike. Clutch lever broke off. Well, there's no chance. Kelly Swanson just gone through. Neil Prince there behind that group. There is Carlson. I think finding the slippery track conditions here at Ellsworth not quite to his liking. Malin. Second in the world at the moment. Leading the British Championship, the 125 series. There is Cooper behind Jamie Brearden, just about to lap him. There is Stefan Everts. Everts battling for the World Championship. There is Heron. 1 lap to go. Malin goes through. He really is the revelation of British 125 racing at the moment. Everts it was then that led and won the last race of the day. Cooper chased him home in second place, and we went over and spoke to Stefan.
Stefan, second in the World 250 Championship at the moment. I believe you've dropped out of first place in the British National Championship. It's a lot of work for you still to do.
Yeah, I lost a lot of points, especially in the first moto. I crashed and I bent the handlebars and I hurt my back a little bit.
Obviously, you're concentrating very much on the World Championship to retain that #1 plate for 1997, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I did a lot of work the last few weeks because my physical condition was not 100%, and it's going in the right direction now, and I think for the next GP it will be okay.
Mark Eastwood, good result, third here today at Ellsworth Motor Park. You have to be pleased with that result.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm happy with it. I had 3 consistent rides. Haven't put them in for a while. At Waits Cone I had a bad race in the last one, and also at Hawkstone I had a bad race in the last one, so it's nice to get 3 consistent results, to 3rd and 2 fourths. Trouble is though, Coops and Robbie were up front of me, so that's helped them out, but I'm pleased,
Well, the overall result for the 125s, Malin, Nunn and Prattley then, and the overall results for the Open with Herring, Cooper and Eastwood. Needless to say, it was a great day's racing, even if it did rain. Everybody certainly enjoyed themselves, least of all the crowd. Pete Plummer there from the ACU and Trials and Motocross News. Herring, Cooper and Eastwood spray the champagne if it wasn't wet enough.
Hello, I'm Brian Wheeler and I ride the fastest motocross bike on the track, KTM.
Well, from KTM to Kawasaki, we dived into the Kawasaki camp to speak to some of the boys and the team manager.
Hi, I'm James Paynton. I'm on the number 26 Team Green Kawasaki.
These are the legs of Ricky Priest.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We've had a few problems with Ricky being injured this year. Dennis Hewitson has proved to be somewhat of a revelation. He's come on this year really, really strong. Paul Cooper, who's included in Kawasaki, he's leading the championship, so we're so far having a good year.
Well, a good year for Kawasaki with Paul Cooper and the guys, and here they go. This is the first of the 125 races off the line, and a cracking start it was for Carl Nunn. Number 10, the Cat, Finning Honda boy, with Dave Thorpe as the team manager, Jorgensen. Then it was Malin, Priesty going through, Vose, Neil Prince, and Craig Prattley, Casio, G-Shock, Suzuki. The battles are on here. This is Neil Shepherd on the 38 bike with Ryan Vose on the 32 Skymar Suzuki. Shepherd having an inspired ride. Checkered flag came out. It was Carl Nunn from pillar to post. Malin could only chase him home for second place. Ricky Priest came home fourth. Then it was Jorgensen and Jonathan Pettit. Then the open class boys came onto the line for their first race. The new 250 world champion Stefan Everts. What could he do here at the Cullum circuit? Robbie Herring was in determined mood. So was Cooper, first and second. Then it was Morris. Where was Everts? And the answer was there, back in around fourth. Up over the jumps come Jamie Dobb, back in England, testing for the Motocross to Nations. James Dobb on the board, the 64 Suzuki. But Herring was having none of it. He took the first race comfortably. Behind him in second place, it was that man, Paul Cooper. Behind Cooper, James Dobb finished 4th, but the result wasn't to stand. The 125 boys came onto the line for their second race of the day. Gate was about to drop. Who was it going to be? The roar, and you can hear in the background we've got some aeroplanes performing stunts above the circuit. Well, I can assure you that didn't distract our crowd one iota, because the man at the front, the youngster in the championship, here he is on the number 10 bike, captain in Honda, Carl Nunn. He won race 1. Jorgensen chased him round in second place. Mark Hucklebridge just going through on the 22 bike. This, of course, was Craig Pratley, but big stuff over the jumps. Spectacular parts of the circuit. But look at Paul Malin climbing all over Jorgensen. This was a battle for the lead because Carl Nunn had dropped back. It was Malin eventually that took the win from Jorgensen. Carl Nunn eventually finished 3rd. Then it was Hucklebridge, number 22, Neil Prince and Ricky Priest as the Opens got into their second race of the day. Would Herring do it again? Anstey it is that whole shots with Herring on the inside, but it was Herring that took the checkered flag. 2 wins out of 2 for Robbie Herring as the midpoint entertainment got underway, and an aerobatic display here from the RAF helicopter crew, and it was really spectacular. Open race took off the line, the 125s, the 250s and the 500s. There was Malin on the inside. Who is it going to be that took the win in this one? Remember, James Dobb was around as well. He wasn't counting for points, but he was certainly there to do something about the positions. And down went John Barford, back after his knee injury, but Robbie Herring, he did it. 3 out of 3, what a ride.
Robbie, clean sweep, 3 out of 3. Got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased today. I was a bit unsure before today as to whether to ride the 500 or not, but my spare situation with the 500 led me to ride the 250, and I don't think I made a bad decision. You know, the 250 coped with the track really well, and I rode really good. I rode really smooth, good starts, and it's so much easier from the front.
James Dobb, it's a pleasure to see you back in the UK, racing in particular here at this penultimate round of the British Championship. Been away in America now 3 years. You glad to be back?
Yeah, it's been fun. It was exciting for me today, just seeing all the people that I've not seen in so long, and it was exciting to race back here. I had an enjoyable day, and I'd like to thank everyone that made it possible.
Round 7 and the final round of this Morris Lubricants Championship 1996 got underway with, of course, the 125s. But not everybody got safely through that first chicane of corners. Lee Williams, number 38, a casualty, but he wasn't the only casualty. The race brought to a premature halt when Andy White's son, Jonathan White, crashed quite heavily. But nevertheless, the restart, Carl Nunn went on to win. Malin was 2nd and Princey was 3rd. The open race, the gate dropped and everybody ran for cover into that first corner, and it wasn't Anstey this time. Kelly Swanson decided to take a shortcut, and I'm glad we moved. Robbie Herring came through to take race number 1 win, which is what he needed to get himself up to the top of the championship. Cooper took 2nd. 3rd then for Stefan Everts, and Herring now leading the championship going into this last round. Needed to win the next race, but it was number 10, Carl Nunn, who set the 125 crowd alight. Led again from start, literally to finish. Absolutely inspired the youngster was. His team manager Dave Thorpe extremely happy with him. Nunny was that won race 2. Race 2 then for the Opens, and this time it was Anstey that got the whole shot. Down the hill it was Herring once again with his teammates. Stefan Everts right behind him in 2nd. Paul Cooper was to finish 3rd. Everything was going on the last race of the day. It was between Herring and Cooper, but Everts could play a vital role. Herring had to finish in the top 3, and if Cooper was to win, Herring had to finish second to take the championship, but what could Everts do? They set off in hot pursuit. Who is it going to be then that got crowned British Open Class Championship? The rain started to fall. It was Everts. Everts did the job for his teammate. He took the win. Cooper chased Everts home in second place, but it wasn't good enough. He had to win the race because this young man, Robbie Herring, third and first in the championship. He was the new British Open champion. Paul Malin second in the world and first in the British Championship.
Rob, that's the end of another year of British Championship racing. You've come through. You've won the championship at the death. You must be satisfied with that result.
Yeah, I mean, it is extremely satisfying result today. Coming into today, I was 4 points behind Paul, and you know, I didn't really have a lot to lose because I haven't won the Open Class yet. Paul won it last year, so it's probably a bit more pressure on Paul to retain the title. And I thought about all the different possibilities of where I had to finish, and my plan today was to win the first two races and then try and finish behind him in the last race, and it worked out perfect. But it may not have worked out that way, so I was very fortunate that you know, things went my way today.
Token of my generosity. You won the last race today in fine style. Congratulations. Take care of this trophy.
I will. I will cherish them forever, and they will take pride of place on my mantelpiece at home.
Okay.
And actually, I wanted to finish third because I needed a new egg cup, but unfortunately I won. So
I nearly got the same as you. Like, I got a 1 and a 2, and you got a 1 and a 1.
Well, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I really am.
My arms are pumped.
Pride of place.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there. Mantelpiece. They're there. There you go.